5,605 pounds, as you see it here. This is a J-Flight 242 BHS here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. J-Flight is and has been the #1 selling RV since 2005 and counting. So the question is, how, what, when, where, and why? Which is actually like 5 questions. Anyway, this is an excellent model for someone who's either going to start camping, or maybe you're trying to move up into something with a slide out, or get rid of the old family pop-up and get into something hard-sided and a little bit easier for the family adventure. Now, every manufacturer is going to have a layout similar to this, and they all have neat little qualities. I've always said, and I do believe, that every RV is the best in a different way. But one of the things Jayco's done well here in the 242 is they didn't get too big with anything, so when the slide is closed, like it is currently in travel mode, you maintain full, easy walk-through access. You can get to every single darn thing you need to in transit. That big pantry back there, all of your kitchen, your bathroom, your master bed, all that stuff is simple and easy to access without ever touching the slide out. Now, commonly, in a more basic class like this, you'll tend to get a shorter interior height. And that's one of the things I really respect most on these J-Flight SLXs, is that they have the full 6'9" interior height of their big brother, the full-blown J-Flight, with this kind of being the more simple series versus the upgraded Jazzy Pants series. This one does everything you need and nothing it doesn't. What's great, though, is they didn't skimp on construction. Physically, this is built, structured exactly like the big J-Flight. It's just appointed a little more simply. There's a lot of people who are like, look, dude, I don't need a fancy pants satellite HD television. We're going camping, not RVing. And that's exactly what this one is. Now, we still have central air. We still have an excellent LED lighting package in here. That's something that they're good about, is continually using high-intensity lights. We still have air vents that can both turn and close instead of only blowing in one spot. You know, if you're like my family, I'm always hot, my wife is not, so this allows us to both stay comfortable. Now, over here, something that you can't see is that all Jaycos with a slide out have insulated slide flooring. And you actually have to go pretty high up into the fifth wheel market for that to become more of a standard thing. That is an exceptionally outstanding quality within this class category and price point. Now you can see we've got the bigger U-dinette here, and it is a full width extra large U-dinette, so it can fold down into a larger adult sleeper, as we will see later. Plus there's storage below it, plus there's just more room to seat people. Now if you wanted to put a couple little jump seats, some folding out chairs or something on the front side here, you could easily wrap 6 people around it. Now, I also appreciate that they gave us a huge window on this thing. 1, for viewing, for light, but 2, it's an airflow window. It's a full, massive sliding glass panel, but this whole camper does have pleated night shades for privacy that'll basically black out any sun you don't want to have come through and give you maximum privacy. So we're taller, we've got the bigger dinette slide, and that's the thing. I can find you a little bit smaller, a little bit less expensive version of this camper. You're going to have to start giving things up, though. Like, they had to extend the RV a little bit to give you this extra large, like, linen pantry, cabinet, closet, whatever you want it to be over here. This can kind of be whatever it needs to be. But before we get there real quick, I want to zero in on the fact, because I've forgotten to talk about this lately a few times. And that is that J-Flights all have pressed membrane countertops here in the kitchen. And what that's going to do for you guys is if you do happen to spill some water somewhere, it's not going to, you know, drizzle and dribble everywhere. Now, again, it's 100 little detail factors, like the fact that the refrigerator faceplates in these J-Flights are magnet friendly. It's a small thing, but small things add up quickly when there's a lot of them, kind of like raindrops in a bucket. Another small thing that's also a big thing is the fact that Jayco uses twice the thickness on their bunk mats that most manufacturers use in this class and category. This is what is often deemed as entry level. Entry level doesn't have to mean cheap. Entry level just means starter class. It means not over the top ridiculous. Now, another nice Jayco thing is their construction. Again, this is built just like Big Brother J-Flight. Jayco bunks and travel trailers are always rated for 300 pounds per sleeping space. This is a 2-sleeper. Do the math. That's a 600-pound bunk. Now, you rarely have to see weight ratings on lower bunks, and the biggest reason for that is due to the fact that there's so much more construction below it that it's just not an issue. Now, as promised over here, we've got this big 6'9" closet pantry, whatever you want it to be, it could be. It'd be absolutely nothing to throw a little hanging rack, rod hanging rack or some coat hooks or something in there. But it's kind of a, it'll let you really kind of stack them up and do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it with this Jayco. Now, another small detail. Notice I'm hitting on a whole bunch of small detail differences. How about the fact that their bathroom door actually locks? You assume that to be the case, I bet. Especially someone who's never bought an RV. I bet you would have assumed the bathroom doors lock in campers. And you would often have assumed incorrectly. That is not a standard common feature found across the board. Neither is that ridiculously large shower pan that they have back there. And note that they do have protective surround paneling. When you start getting into this class and category, what some manufacturers will do is as soon as you get to the curtain line, they will change from a cream-colored Luan wall panel to just a white Luan wall panel to make it look like there's surround paneling in there, when in fact there's not. Now, if there's not surround paneling in a camper, I'm not saying that they're like bad people or anything like that. All you have to do is take the towel and quickly wipe down the walls, like just zip zip when you're done showering, and you'll be fine. There's like no big scary thing about that. It's just the fact that not with the Jayco, you don't have to. They've just done it for you. They've made it simpler. They've made it easier so you can just, you know, hop in, hop out, and get back to camping instead of messing around with toweling down your shower walls. And of course, that big Udinette would fold down into an extra large sleeper. So what's kind of cool is this gives us a fourth separate sleeping zone, which means we have an easy 5 sleeper capacity with 2 on the master bed and 1 everywhere else. But that also means that depending on how big or small people are and how willing they are to bunk up to one another, that'll give you a total capacity of up to 7 to 8 people in this little Jayco. Now, standard as we're looking at it, this one has a pretty simple entertainment complement. However, it's easily expandable. Again, in this segment, a lot of people are like, look, I'm not looking for, you know, TV and entertainment. We're buying this camper so we can go outside. This is here for us to sleep, for us to use the bathroom, and for us to eat. That's all this is for. But if you want to, you've obviously got a nice spot here. You could easily throw probably a decent like 32-inch TV in there if you were so inclined. I would recommend putting a swing arm mount on it so it can face the dinette so you can avoid that neck wrecker situation. But if you do choose to upgrade your entertainment, Jayco really kind of made this a build your own adventure thing, because on the left we have a Bluetooth stereo, but it has both face-mounted USB charging plug and an HDMI plug. And they actually ran HDMI wiring for you. So if you do want to plug that into a TV, or if you want to bring along gaming systems, Blu-ray players, satellites, this is capable of handling all of those things. And something I like, sometimes it's not how big or flashy something is, sometimes it's just how effective it is. You've got that clutter-cutting shoe garage right by the entry door, right when you walk in, right where it needs to be. Now, we've got plywood drawers here, and I point that out because in this segment, you'll sometimes run into campers that don't have any drawers, or they might be particle board drawers with a sticker wrap. Jayco took it a step above, and they give you a nice spot here for a wastebasket. And there is an additional storage cabinet door on the back side of this countertop, so you can get to all the storage back there as well. The appliance outlets are also easier to reach here, which is very common in a wood skeleton constructed trailer. It's easier to install outlets in a, quote, stick and tin trailer versus a laminated trailer. Now, they don't scale down on their cabinetry here. We still have hardwood cabinet door frames. We still have pocket screwed cabinet styles. It's not particle board that's been stapled together. And if you don't know what those things mean, please give our guys a call. It's very simple and easy to explain. But again, I am aware that not everybody, you know, knows all those little terms and details and things like that. That's the hardest part about these videos, is that I feel like for people who watch them with frequency, maybe I sound a little repetitive, maybe I sound a little boring. But at the same time, I also have to try to keep in mind that there are some people who don't know anything about campers. Maybe this is the first time you've ever tuned into Haylett RV, and I want to make sure that you understand, at least to a base extent, what we're looking at here too. Now, in the bedroom, something I want to point out again is that both windows still have pleated nightshades. They don't scale down and use cheaper metallic mini blinds just because you leave the living room. That is actually a pretty common thing you will encounter in the RV business. They still use nice, big, wide open side stands, so claustrophobic people won't feel claustrophobic. Very phone charger and CPAP friendly. Plus, kind of something that surprises me is here at this base class and price point, they still have easy lift bed decking. And if you note, it's still plywood. Again, this is more of a price sensitive trailer segment, but they're still using quality materials where it counts. You know, we still have plywood roof, plywood floor. They still have the plywood decking under here. They still have the pocket screwed cabinetry. It's simple, not cheap. There's a difference there. Now here in their more simple series, they don't get too flashy and fancy. There's not a ton of swoops and swooshes and stuff all over this thing. Just a couple, just so it doesn't look like a blank canvas. I kind of like stuff like, you know, I've seen so many RVs now over the past couple of years that when they first started coming out with all these color packages and everything, I was like, oh wow, look at that. But I'm sort of coming back around that I'm kind of enjoying the plain Jane look of things again. I just like it to look clean. I like it to look like a camper, but that's just me. You know, that's just, I'm not saying they're good, bad, or ugly for doing it. That's just my 2 cents. So allow me to remove my personal influence here real quick, and let's talk about one of the things that really makes this one work. So I said it was taller inside, but if you look at the specs, they're really not taller outside. And that's kind of a mind bender. And the secret in the sauce is their custom engineered chassis. If you take a look here, you can see that the A-frame, the tongue of the camper, it actually merges into the actual chassis body. And I do like how Jayco extends that diamond plate down to protect you there. What that allows for, guys, is a lower floor. So it's not actually a taller ceiling, it's a lower floor, but it doesn't make sense for me to say that when we're inside it. You know, you can't really see it. Little detail things I like to point out here. How about the fact that the windows are UV tinted? And that seems just like that bathroom door lock. You're thinking, yeah, aren't they all that way? And the answer is no. No, they're not. Different manufacturers build with different goals and different ideas, and none of them are wrong. It's just a matter of which one appeals to you. That's why I say every RV is the best in a different way. I do believe that. Sometimes what makes an RV the best is just a price tag, and sometimes what gets them there are things that I don't like. You know, like removing structure is a great way to make an RV lighter and less money, and those are good qualities, but they're also scary qualities. So you have to kind of leverage one against the other. Over here, I do like that we have a full outside utility shower still. Again, in a base series, more entry-level camper, that is a feature that is often omitted. We also have larger rain spouts on the back here, and that seems like a dumb thing to talk about. But again, it's not something you can assume is always going to be here on a more basic camper. Kind of like that backup camera prep, kind of like a walkable roof, you know, things like that. How about a spare tire with a cover? I hope you never need it, but boy howdy, I'm sure glad you got it if that need does arise. One thing this does have is an that should go in the blooper reel right there. But you know what? We're doing it live. I'm going to leave it. Anyway, one thing this does have is an industry exclusive feature called J Smart Lighting. Now, I had a rather neat opportunity here to actually demonstrate the J Smart lighting package equipped on these Jaycos, and this is exclusive to Jayco RV. First of all, it stands for signals, markers, and reverse travel. And the reverse travel is this just blindingly bright light that's staring at us right here in the face. Now, I don't know how well that translates into camera, but that center section in person, it's painful. It is strong. It is in charge. Now, the signals and markers portion, if you notice at the top of the rear wall, there's extra clearance lights, and all of your side marker lights are all blinking along with the turn signals. Now, the delivery driver this morning was kind enough to cooperate with us, so I don't want to make this take too long so that they can get back on the road and they can continue to make their income. We try to be conscious of everybody here at Haylett RV, but the fact is this is an enhanced safety feature that you will not find anywhere else in the marketplace except for here on a Jayco. Now, very often when you get into these more price sensitive base level trailers, you'll tend to get kind of shortchanged on your awning, but you'll see that's not the case here. And actually, if you take note, they even ran the awning clear past the outside kitchen, which is something that a lot of people ask for. That's a neat little detail feature that they put together here. Now, I got a great little angle on it right now. You can see that full-length LED lighting under the awning because the morning light is just throwing a little bit of shade under that awning. Really just kind of worked to my favor here. Usually, the light's working against me. Now, a couple of years ago, Jayco came up with this low-profile telescoping mini outside kitchen, and they nailed it, and they've never had to change it since. It's got all the key components, you know, all the right junk in all the right places, basically. I think there's a song about that. You got Dad's medicine cabinet on the left, a little 2-burner stove top in that telescoping mechanism right there. If you're not interested in cooking outside, it's at worst a stainless steel top, kind of like an escalator. Doesn't really break down, it just becomes stairs. And this is really the kicker, because base campers often have the little dog dish sinks. This does still have a full sink with a real drain into a holding tank, so it's not just dribbling down to the ground. Now, here's a neat little best-in-class feature. Goodyear Radial tires, rated for 87 mile an hour at 80 psi. A lot of people don't know what the 80 psi thing means. Basically, that's like you could go to just like a gas station and put air in the tires if you had to. A normal household, real inexpensive compressor will be able to accommodate that. And if you're curious as to why the tires are rocking and rolling right now, we have Mr. Jody inside doing some quality control. He's probably opening cabinets, lifting up beds. We're pretty thorough about that stuff. This also rides on Dexter Easy Lube axles, which is just a legendary name. And if we get down here and we take a knee, you will see that this does have galvanized wheel wells, which is just an extra little protective measure that Jayco puts into their RVs, even here at their base level. Now remember, in the bedroom I said there was that removable TV mount. This is where it would hook up outside to give you, if you choose to add a TV to it, you could float one screen all over the place in the camper. Pretty darn handy. Now, a couple more notes on this awning. It does have an auto rain dump feature, which is why you see that gas strut in the arm. You also do have a tilt adjustment to it. That's what these little silver pegs are sticking out of the side of that arm right there. It also has the speakers mounted on the awning arms, but I like how they're mounted down here. When the speakers are mounted in the awning head and the awning is open, the speakers will point at your campsite. It makes sense. But when they're mounted down low like this, even when the awning's closed, the speakers are going to be sitting right about there at the base of that post, so that they're never going to be blowing anybody away like the neighbors who never think your music is good, even though their music is trash. We all know that. Extra large baggage doors on both sides of the camper, and notice the fact that this does allow for full passenger access. Hey, there's Mr. Jody peeking through. Peekaboo. Now, just to kind of circle back to something, not only does this have the J Smart lighting package, but they are all LED, which is nice. It's not just LED tails, but LED markers and everything. And if you take note, Jayco does top seal all exterior components, which is an extra little thing. Maybe they don't need to do, but a lot of manufacturers don't. And just to finish the package off, as long as we're looking at that pass-through, it's plenty large and leaves us plenty enough room here to utilize that simple little side solar prep right there if you do want to put a portable solar panel in it. And you know, something I don't usually talk about, I don't think about, and I just sort of noticed it. You see down here on this jack how it has that little removable foot pad? First of all, the foot pad is going to help prevent that tongue jack from sinking into the dirt. Secondly, it's going to save you a lot of elbow grease cranking that thing up and down. So it's probably one of the things that our delivery drivers appreciate most about these little Jaycos. And I think everybody has something they can appreciate about it, whether it's the best-in-class you know, roof construction and load on these with their Magnum truss roof system and plywood roof and floor decking, or just the travel accessibility, that smart outside kitchen, the bigger awning. Whatever it is, it's got a little bit of something for everybody. So if what you're looking for is either your first camper, or you're trying to get into something with a slide out or get out of a pop-up, or if what you're looking for is that that family bunkhouse camper that'll last you the 10 plus years until the kids are gone, so you know the two of you can get that laminated luxury job you've been dreaming of, this one will get you there. That's what's kind of nice about it. And we can help make that happen at Haylett RV, because we don't do hidden dealer fees, but we do everything else. Hitching, pieces, parts, trades, finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything in between. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.